Been doing videos today and wondering what that glow is. It's sunlight. I BC, we've had so little sunlight over the last month that sunlight. I'm like, what is that glow? Oh, it's the sun. All right. I realize it's been a while since I did part one of this countdown, and I apologize, but this week's kind of been crazy. So let's go ahead and continue it. These are the There's the continuing the countdown of my 50 favorite artists and bands. So Britney Spears won't be on this. That'd be like on the hottest artists list, and Katy Perry won't be on this list either. I don't know Katy Perry. Honorable mention to Alice Cooper. There you go, Emily. I give Alice Cooper an honorable mention. We're still friends. We're good. 40. It's funny. Phil Collins has some really cheesy, crappy songs. He also has some really dark, fun songs, and some generally fun songs. I think the one that I used to sing the most when I was a teenager was "Take Me Home." That was my favorite. And I know Studio and Against All Odds and whatever they were the hits. For me, it was "Take Me Home." That was the one that was my favorite. And I always appreciated Phil Collins for some of his darker stuff, like "In the Air Tonight," and the best one, which is "I Don't Care Anymore." That's just great. Number 39. If I did this countdown 20 years ago, man, these guys would have been so much higher. You went back to 20, 21-year-old Shannon and said your 39th favorite band of all time is going to be Foreigner. I would have been like, you're lying. Get out. Um, Foreigner doesn't age well. Let's just put it that way. Foreigner at a concert in Abbotsford. I didn't even try to go. I looked at ticket prices. I'm like, no, and I didn't go. Foreigner is fronted by Lou Graham, who I believe, yeah, I've got him higher up. And that's the funny thing. Lou Graham's solo stuff. Love Lou Graham's solo stuff. I need to get those CDs, and I need to be able to play them so that Yvonne can understand how truly fantastic Lou Graham is. By which I mean she'll start smacking her head into the steering wheel by about song number 4, because it's my music. It's my kind of music. And Lou Graham's one of my all-time favorite singers. But yeah, a lot of Foreigner stuff does sound kind of dated now. Um, there's a few that I still can listen to and kind of say, like "Say You Will" was one of my favorites, but there's a lot of their stuff that I listen to now. And I'm like, ah. That's kind of why Chicago isn't on this list either, because Chicago sounds kind of dated. And really, for me, "You're the Inspiration" was way overplayed, and "Stay the Night" is still their best song ever. That's just, it's not even close. 38. Typo Negative. I think one of the few bright spots brought into my life by my ex-wife, other than my son, was Typo Negative. Band I barely heard of, didn't really have much to do with, didn't know. I stayed out of their way, they stayed out of mine. Pretty good band, pretty good music. Now, it does sound kind of Halloween esque. I don't know how else to describe it other than, if you want to listen to Halloween music all year and you've been looking for a band that plays Halloween music that you can listen to all year, it's Typo Negative. They sing about vampires. They sing about werewolves, kind of, wolf moons, kind of. I mean, it's not really. If you know what it's about, you'll probably go, "Oh, really?" But yeah, like there's a lot of content in that which some people might find sexy and some people might find disturbing and some people might find both. But they're really, really, really different. 37. Saw these guys live. They have to be on the list. Lizzie Hale. What a voice. If you get a chance to see Hailstorm live, do it. Do it. Foreigner, I looked at ticket price and went, Hailstorm, I didn't care what the ticket prices were. I had to see Hailstorm. Hailstorm is fantastic. Um, Lizzie Hale, well, like, if you can fall in love with a woman's voice, that's what she is. So, Lizzie in my eyes is just fantastic. Love her to death. And Hailstorm, some really fun songs, some good songs, and live they're just awesome. 36. This is where I have to explain to the young kids who a band is. The Fix. So in the mid '80s, there was a song that came out. One thing leads to another. Well, early '80s was one thing leads to another, and I was like, I don't really like this. And then Are We Ourselves came out, and the video drove me nuts. I didn't like it. And then Secret Separation came out a couple years after that, and I couldn't stand it the first time I heard it. And then I realized something, that I was stupid, and I went back and I listened to them again, and I realized that their lyrics are really clever, their beats are fun, and they are really, really a really solid band. One band that would be up here with them if I had more music to go with from them is Talk Talk. Talk Talk's known for It's My Life, which was covered by No Doubt, and that was the big hit. But Life's What You Make It is the Talk Talk song that's really fantastic. The Fix, it's Secret Separation. After about the second or third time I listened to Secret Separation, it started to sink in just how good the song was. I think what I had to do was I had to hear it on the radio and separate it from the video because their videos are kind of off-putting. Seriously, the Fix's videos are kind of off-putting. So you listen to their music and don't watch the videos, and then suddenly they became one of my favorite bands. Easily one of my favorite bands. I can't compliment them enough. Number 35. I can't stand country music. Anybody who knows me knows this. And yet, there's Johnny Cash at number 35. So why would Johnny Cash, the man in black, be at number 35 if I can't stand country music? Because Johnny Cash is Johnny Cash. He's not country music. Johnny Cash stands alone. He always stood alone. Yes, he was on country music charts, but I've never listened to Johnny Cash and just thought, oh, this is a good country album. I've been like, this kicks ass because it's Johnny Cash. There was always something sinister with Johnny Cash. There was a darkness. The reason he was the man in black. There are so many songs of his that are just awesome. And I don't consider them country songs. I don't consider them rock songs. I consider them to be Johnny Cash. When he sang "Hurt," and the video came out, and he sang it after his wife had passed away, and he sang it shortly before he passed away himself. The song "Hurt," sung by Johnny Cash, has so much depth and meaning that song alone, even if it wasn't for the other music that he played, even if I hated all of his other songs, he still gets this spot on the chart. That good. 34. This is a band I've gone back and forth on. I really have. Like, are they dated? Are they really that good? But lately I've been listening to their albums again. 3 Days Grace is damn good. And they're the first Canadian artist to show up on this chart so far today. 3 Days Grace started off with I Hate Everything About You. The funny part is, well, I can still sing along to that song and it's fun. It's much like Puddle of Mudd's You Hate Me, or She Hates Me. You can sing along to it and it's fun, but the best song from Puddle of Mudd was Blurry, and the best songs from 3 Days Grace are almost all of their other songs. Pain is my favorite song from 3 Days Grace. Well, that and Home and Just Like You, and there are all kinds of really good songs from them. Yes, I Hate Everything About You is their big hit, and I get it, and I like it, but stick around and listen to their other stuff because it's pretty darn good. At 33, I'm going to go back to the 80s, but I'm going to explain why these guys are on my favorite band list, even though I've never owned a CD or tape of theirs. I've never owned a Depeche Mode tape, never owned a CD, never went into a store and said, you know what, I think I'm going to get a Depeche Mode CD today, and I'm going to get a Depeche Mode tape today. Never happened. And yet, their music is so revolutionary, and it's funny because here they are, this Euro synth pop band who seem harmless, and yet metal bands keep covering them. Metal artists keep covering them because there's a darkness to their lyrics, there's a darkness to their music, and there's a depth to their music. And Depeche Mode is a group that if I could see them live, I would absolutely go. And it would probably get me off my ass and get me to buy some of their music. And this is Depeche Mode is a good example of why I'm talking about my favorite bands after I talked about my favorite songs, because there may not be any one Depeche Mode song that I would put in my top 100 or 200 favorite songs, but their body of work, absolutely fantastic. And what they've done for music. So when they're done and they're gone, um, what they've done with music will continue, and they've influenced so many different artists. Um, and it's fantastic to see just how much they've done. Considering when they came in with "People Are People" was the first song of theirs I'd heard, and I didn't think much of it at the time. I thought it was kind of a cool little tune, but that was right around the same time as "Tears for Fears" came out. "Tears for Fears" isn't on this chart, but I didn't see them as necessarily being a bigger artist than "Tears for Fears." "Tears for Fears" was Shout was bigger, but Depeche Mode has had that longevity. They've managed to stay relevant. Pet Shop Boys are a good example of that too. Pet Shop Boys aren't on this chart, but Pet Shop Boys have stayed relevant and stayed in music, and still managed to put out music they've produced, even if they aren't necessarily the stars of it. Music they've produced, and it's been entertaining. Number 32. So go back to Shannon in his 20s. Tell him Foreigners at 39. Tell him The Who's at 32. Shannon's going to tell you you're a liar. Because Shannon didn't like the Who in his 20s because his musical tastes hadn't really realized just what he liked. I liked Eminence Front. That was about it. But I've gone back, and honestly, I think the best song from The Who, and you can argue back and forth, but Love Reign O'er Me is just fantastic. And when I listen to it, I have to listen to it a few times. I can't just listen to it once, I got to listen to it a few times. It starts out nice and quiet, and it's the sweet, and it builds and it builds and it builds, and you get such a strong feeling from the song. I really appreciate music like that. That's a lot of fun to listen to. 31. I made Yvonne listen to a couple of their songs the other day. Yvonne's not a fan of U2. If she did a favorite 400 bands list, I don't think U2 would be on it. We diverge on this one. I remember I got dumped once. Once. At one of the many times that I was dumped. Um, I had shared a lot of my music with this girl that had dumped me, so I couldn't listen to that music for all. You guys know how it is. She's ruined my music. And I just bought Octung Baby. Well, I'd never shared Octung Baby with her, so therefore, that was all I listened to for about a month. And it caused me to go out and buy the Joshua Tree. And I am a huge fan of those two U2 albums. I am not a gigantic fan of the music that came out before Joshua Tree. I love Pride in the Name of Love. That song is fantastic. But not a big fan of The Unforgettable Fire. Not a big fan of the album with Sunday Bloody Sunday. Not a big fan of what came after Octung Baby, because then they went too far into the disco Euro trash kind of music. But for Joshua Tree, Rattle and Hum, to some extent, not entirely. Some parts of Rattle and Hum are kind of crap. But All I Want Is You, oh, what a song. Um, it's just such deep feeling and beautiful, and it's so wonderful. And then Octung Baby, which was just awesome from start to finish. And the songs I find myself liking for them are songs like Ultraviolet, Baby Light My Way, Love Is Blindness, oh, what a great song. Um, and then Mothers of the Disappeared on Joshua Tree, Exit. Like, the songs that I find myself liking from U2 are usually not the big singles. Not to say that The Fly isn't a great song, but it's weird because U2 has this depth on those two albums in particular that is just awesome. Like Joshua Tree is great, and I know Rattle and Hum was popular, but it's too much. To me, Rattle and Hum's too much. I think you could have cut out 4 or 5 of the live tracks off that CD and probably made it better, but whatever. We're splitting hairs at this point. So there you go. This is why I'm doing this chart, because there's going to be bands you're going to see on here and go, oh, Shannon listens to them. Because having watched my song charts, you're going to be like, oh, you wouldn't listen to them. Yeah, no, I do. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts. Again, Alice Cooper special um, honorable mention. But anyways, we're down to the top 30. I will work on getting the videos from 30 and down done soon. I do apologize for the days in between. I'd like to mention to my subscribers on this channel, I'm wearing a Humboldt Broncos hat, which I got custom made at Lids. Now I know that I'm talking in Canada. Lids is doing a fundraiser for Humboldt. I thought this was a good way to do it. The actual Humboldt Broncos logo, because I can keep wearing it months, years from now, and nobody's going to look at me funny. Because if you have a hat that just has like Humboldt Strong and that kind of thing, to me anyways, then it kind of gets dated if you're not directly attached to Humboldt. Sort of like I always thought it was weird to see Boston Strong t-shirts being worn by people that weren't in Boston. And I understood, like, giving that support. But anyways, to get back to my story on this, Lids custom embroiders. There's the word. Custom embroiders the hats. You have to pay for the hat, so I paid for the blank hat, which was $20 with a discount because they're 25% off right now. The embroidery was free by them. However, there's a $12.99 fee for the embroidery that goes directly to the Humboldt Fund. So there you go. Explaining the hat I'm wearing. I finished Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 2, and I should definitely talk about how excited I was about that. But Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3 is on now, and I'm avoiding that so I can order that when it comes out on DVD, because I don't have Super Channel, which is the only way to watch it in Canada, which sucks. But anyways, there's my 40 through 31 on my favorite bands. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.